I'm Rick Delorier, the Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Boston Division, and thanks to each of you for attending this press conference. I would like to specifically thank the United States Marshal Service, the Massachusetts State Police, the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Department of Corrections, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Internal Revenue Service for their tireless efforts in support of the FBI's fugitive investigation regarding James Bulger and Catherine Gregg. The FBI also wants to thank each person who had the courage to call the FBI to assist in the 16-year search for Mr. Bulger. For 100 years, the FBI has known that combining the reach and power of the media with alert citizens is a successful formula for catching fugitives. Let me provide you with a few details regarding the circumstances of Mr. Bulger and Ms. Gregg's arrest late last night. On Tuesday, June 21st, just after 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, a tip was received by the FBI's Los Angeles office. The tip was generated as a direct result of the FBI's unique publicity campaign organized by FBI Boston and FBI headquarters this past Monday. As part of that campaign, the FBI paid for a public service announcement to run in 14 media markets across the country. Those media markets were chosen because the FBI knew that Bulger and Gregg had ties to those areas. Los Angeles Division agents of the FBI immediately relayed the tip to the FBI's command post here in Boston. The command post had been set up specifically to quickly and methodically analyze tips and to direct leads to FBI personnel around the country and around the world as necessary. FBI agents, analysts, and other staff in Boston reviewed the tip. They quickly recognized that certain information appeared to be credible and promising. By Wednesday, June 22nd, at 10:50 a.m. Pacific Time, at the direction of FBI Boston, members of FBI Los Angeles' Fugitive Task Force were requested to conduct surveillance at the location in question. That task force included FBI agents from the Los Angeles Division's Fugitive Task Force, as well as members of the Los Angeles Police Department. Just after 4 p.m. Pacific Time, the task force members began conducting surveillance at the location. The task force concluded that the tip was fruitful after observing two individuals who appeared to resemble the two fugitives. At approximately 5:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, using a ruse, agents and other task force members lured Mr. Bulger out of his apartment. Agents determined that the individual was, in fact, Mr. Bulger. He was placed under arrest without incident. Agents then went back into the apartment and arrested Ms. Gregg without incident. After the arrest, the FBI's evidence response team conducted a search of the residence. Although there are those who have doubted our resolve at times over the years, it has never wavered. We followed every lead, we explored every possibility.
Good morning. Mike Ferguson, Assistant Special Agent in charge with the Drug Enforcement Administration. The capture of fugitive James Bulger marks another milestone in an investigation of drug trafficking, murder, and corruption by Bulger and his cohorts. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the men and women of the DEA, the Massachusetts State Police, the FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service, the IRS, and the United States Attorney's Office for their efforts and their persistence in this investigation. Now, Mr. Bulger will be afforded the opportunity to fight these charges in the United States District Court here in Boston, while the family members of the alleged victims can move one step closer to seeing justice served. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Marion McGovern. I'm the Colonel of the Massachusetts State Police. And the fact that we are standing here today is definitely a testimony to the persistence and the tenacity of all the agencies that have searched for James Bulger for the past 16 years. I would like to recognize the many members of the Bulger Task Force, which included the Massachusetts State Police, who worked tirelessly for decades to hunt him down. These investigators carried the torch, and they were never deterred in their pursuit of justice for his victims. But as we acknowledge the great works of these investigators, it's more important to remember the victims that he left behind and their families. This pursuit of justice was for them and to hold Mr. Bulger accountable for the carnage that he left behind. Thank you.
Good morning, Dave Taylor, Chief Deputy United States Marshal for the District of Massachusetts. I, too, want to join in with my colleagues and truly appreciate all the work that the combined agencies have done in the capture of Whitey Bulger. The United States Marshal Service got asked within the last year to join the task force, and it was our pleasure. I want to especially thank Neil Sullivan from our office for the hard work he did on the case and all the work that all the agents and officers did. And I hope the families of the victims appreciate, and we appreciate their patience in getting our job done. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Phil Hall. I'm the acting special agent in charge for the IRS here in Boston. On behalf of the IRS, I want to acknowledge the hard work and the successful pursuit of this longtime fugitive by the FBI and the U.S. Marshals. The efforts to arrest Bulger and Greg are clear acknowledgement of the hard work of the prosecutors and law enforcement partners who pursued this organized crime investigation in Boston for years. This is yet another example of demonstrating the collective efforts to enforce the law, and without persistence and dedication of the law enforcement partners, we would not be standing here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Are there any questions?
Can you elaborate on the ruse that Rick just talked about, what's out there, and what names were they using in L.A. or in Santa Monica when they were out there?
I believe the names that they were using were Charles and Carol Gasco.
How do you spell that?
Gasco, G-A-S-K-O. And with respect to the ruse, I really don't have any specific comment regarding that.
Did Mr. Bulger say anything when he was arrested?
We can't comment on anything that he did or did not say.
Can you say whether there was cash and guns found in his apartment? There's been a report of that. Can you confirm that?
Yes, there were guns and firearms that were found. Can
you say what kind of weapons and how much approximately?
I think the best way to characterize it would be a variety of weapons, guns, and a very substantial amount of cash.
Where was he getting the money?
Mr. Delaney, first of all, congratulations. I wonder if you could tell me, was that area under surveillance before, that neighborhood in that area?
I wouldn't want to speculate on past investigation right now.
America's Most Wanted had at least 10 tips over the years for that same area of Santa Monica. Do you know how many more that you had leads that you had to that?
I don't have any comment on that right now.
What's the timetable for bringing them back here in Boston?
Probably within the next 48 hours.
Can you tell us anything about the tipster? Did they know the person? Was it a stranger? Was it spotted them?
I can't characterize the nature of the individual or individuals who provided us information. That is something I can't comment upon.
Do you have any idea how long he had been in Santa Monica and where he was for the years before that? Were they in the United States? Were they outside the United States? Did they always stay together? What can you tell us? What's happened?
The investigation is ongoing right now out in Los Angeles. It would be speculative of me to characterize things that could change as a result of ongoing investigative activity in Los Angeles. We have no reason to believe he has not been there for some degree of time. However, we don't want to characterize that.
Comment on jurisdictions, for instance, Oklahoma or Florida, that may want to pursue some case against him?
I would let the U.S. Attorney Ortiz comment on that question.
Well, as you're aware, there are two pending separate murder cases in those arenas, and we will be following up and communicating with him. But he right now is in federal custody. We intend to extradite him here to Massachusetts and then to pursue with the pending charges that we have here in this court. Yeah, Laura? Wait, I'm sorry, but Laura?
What is your ability to bring a death penalty case given the limitations of Massachusetts?
Well, my understanding is that with respect to the federal charges that are in place, the death penalty would not be an option. However, I believe that he is facing the death penalty in the other two cases that are outside of this district. Yes.
Do you expect to bring him to arraign him in Boston?
Excuse me?
Do you expect to arraign him in Boston?
It really depends on what happens in California. He and Ms. Gregg are going to be before the court on an initial appearance, I believe at around 2 p.m. or so. Pacific time, and then it will depend. We will move for detention. The government will move for detention, and then a defendant can assert their rights and have ask for a detention hearing and ask that we and ask for an evidentiary hearing of that situation where it would take a longer time, or a defendant can waive a detention hearing and waive the extradition proceedings and say they don't contest it and voluntarily go to the district where they're wanted. So it really depends on what happens in California.
This is a very busy area in Santa Monica, the Santa Monica Promenade. Where exactly was he caught in Santa Monica? Can you comment on that?
The specific apartment building?
And the street.
And the street?
He was apprehended in direct proximity of his residence.
And which is?
In Santa Monica.
Which is?
I don't have that right off the top of my head right now, but we can certainly get that for you at some point.
Was there a
Can
search
you
of the
describe what they
apartment?
looked like? How different did they look compared to the pictures? We've seen a lot of computer-generated pictures through the year. We haven't seen them. What did he look like? Is he that different than he was at the age of 60 or 65?
I couldn't really comment on that. We don't have any photos that have come to us from Los Angeles yet of any kind.
Can you comment on his
You have
health?
to-
Did he appear healthy or ill?
We really can't comment on that at this juncture. We just, we don't want to give you any misleading information. We're trying to be as accurate as possible. But please understand that the arrest occurred literally just several hours ago. There hasn't been an appearance in court yet. And so as things develop, we'll have more information.